Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopkina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News Review, where we rate articles essential, important, and optional to help you navigate this avalanche of news that happen every day. We keep thinking that it would slow down, but it is not. And today is another indication that it's not. Very cool articles that we're going to review. They are at gaiinsights.com/articles. So please follow along and tell us what you think and whether our opinions are not aligned with yours. Today we have John Ankaj from our regular crew, and we have a special guest that appears periodically here, Lucinda Lindy, who has usually a really good perspective, deep and with a practical bent. So Lucinda is a senior analyst for Ironside, the company in IT services and data and analytics and AI. Okay, welcome, Lucinda.
Thank you. Always great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, great. Let's start with the first article, Ankash, please.
Good, thanks, Luda. So the first one comes from A16Z and talks about AI avatars escape the uncanny valley.
Yes, this is the frontier. There's people experimenting with avatars. I just created my own little one. So, John, what did you think about this overview of various tools from ASICS?
Well, I think it's, for me, I was going to rate this important. The ability for organizations to use video both internally for training and motivation and so forth, as well as externally with customers, I think is really important. This is a lovely little article that goes through some of the history of the evolution of video capability. These videos, are still, you can still tell on many of them that they're fake, but they're really starting to get quite good. And given the fact that I think we're getting to a more and more visual consumption of information, whether, TikTok, YouTube short videos and so forth. I think this is going to be a much more typical way that brands interact with their end customers, that companies do their internal training capability and so forth. So I would rate this important.
Important. Okay, important rating. Lucinda, what did you think?
Yes, I agree. Actually, with all the points that John brought up, the uncanny valley look is not totally gone, despite the article's title. And there's still even some ways that they could use to improve the realism, but still, it's important, but not essential. We just have seen such a slew of visual, real, and video models lately that it's almost getting to be like, oh my gosh, how do I keep track of like all these things? There's so many out lately. So it's another everyday miracle in terms of what they're describing it. Agree, like the virtual human interfaces for training, HR, customer onboarding are great. It's also great for branded communications to have a consistent look across your branded commercial with a personality-rich AI. I also thought it was cool the later part of the article where they showed that watched the studio build the avatar. That was kind of cool. So yeah, I would agree with important.
Yeah, I was also on important. So Ankash, if you scroll down to almost the end and show the product avatar. So previously you had to be really laboriously create your product avatar. Now you can keep consistency with this here with the speaking avatar and associate it with the product and have it presented that way consistently. So this is quite cool. I think, and there will be more of that. Okay, important it is then. Let's proceed, Ankash.
Yeah, the next one comes from LangChain and it talks about why Definely chose LangGraph for building their multi-agent AI system.
Yeah, this is me. So this article I rated as optional. It's an interesting case from LangChain about the use of LangGraph, where they use the semantic information more in depth of how to help lawyers work within a doc to navigate changes and implications of changes, to understand various related issues, help with negotiations. And Kaj, if you scroll down, I think there's a schematic of side by side. So the doc is on the left and the assistant is on the right. So it's right there. It's certainly a great use case, except for they didn't tell us much about the implementation, and they didn't really give us any impact. Left it to saying, this is really a breakthrough for lawyers, which I think is really important, but no data. So I thought it was optional. What do you think, John?
Yes, optional. Certainly an application area that's important. Obviously written, as a product pup piece. A little bit of jazz hands when it comes to what the, what the true implications are, the implementation. So super important area. Optional is an article.
Lucinda?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to come in on important, but you're right about they don't give the details for, numerical results, and they also don't give the details of how they do it. I did like just the way that they, outlined that different parts of the process. Number one is that they have people that you can make a process such that human approval or steering can be incorporated at various stages. I think that I would like to know more about their modular AI agent architecture for how they do it, how they break down subtasks, et cetera. But I agree. It's a really interesting case. It looks like they've been pretty granular about it. They can also integrate with existing tools. So you talked me back to optional, I guess. But I did think it was a really good example. Just where there were more details, as you said.
John, did Lucinda talk you into important? No. I was actually, to tell you the truth, between optional and important. It's an area legal in your WINS framework, John, is really under fire, and these tools are taking it to the next level. And LangChain and LangGraph specifically is a well-known tool that people can use. There's a lot of documentation about it, right? So it's and as Lucinda said, the process is here outlined. So I thought it may be important, but ended up with optional because of the no results numbers. Okay, optional. Okay, optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next that we have comes from Cloudflare. So Cloudflare has launched a new platform which has MCP authentication and authorization and durable objects in the free tier.
Yeah, a very enabling structures here. It is a product announcement, but it has a lot of details about how MCP is being implemented and utilized to create autonomous agents in a distributed way, which is very important. Lucinda, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, so I feel like this is an important article. However, the topic is essential, and it's really jargon-filled and honestly kind of obfuscating the way that it's written. If I was to, I'm going to do a John now. If I was to rewrite this article, I would do it this way and say, it can do this. Your sales team wants to quickly understand the customer journey. What pages have they visited, et cetera. And you've got somebody and support tickets, look at the emails, et cetera. Your problem is that as a salesperson, the data lives in 4 or 5 different systems: HubSpot, Salesforce, Zendesk, web analytics, and internal product usage, et cetera. Then you use this agent, and it can basically authenticate securely. So MCP is really important because it gets rid of a lot of the integrations that are needed across various data silos. It can authenticate, access the right data, connect in real time, maintain the customer context, and put it all together. So then you just get something output like, this person viewed 3 product pages, spent 10 minutes on pricing and ignored the last email. Maybe they are looking at an alternative competitor, right? So if they had done it that way, I think it would have been more important. I attended a hack / tutorial on building an MCP server on Sunday. And I was walking out, and the guy, I asked the guy, I said, hey, what do you think about this? I mean, what's it going to do? And he says, oh, this totally makes so much of what software development is about just go away, because of the way that it's able to have a standard way of reaching all the data. So wish this was a better written article, but it's kind of it's an important article, but the topic is essential.
Okay, so important rating after all of this, right, Lucinda?
Yeah.
Topic essential. Okay, John, what did you think about it? You're on mute.
I had it as important and well. I mean, these guys, are a big supplier, and I think they do a good job of laying out what the issues are. And I agree with you, Lucinda. The robot could have done a better article, in terms of the quality of the article itself. But for me, as we move forward with MCP, I think that's a huge, a huge framework as people try to figure out what's going on with the agents. So I was going to give this as important.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually, let me try. I know the article is not up to snuff necessarily, right? But I was thinking essential, because this is the way to glue the agents in distributed manner. It is the way to economize on resources. You can put them to sleep. You could essentially get these agents to find out the resources locally in a distributed manner, glue them together, authenticate them, and make it secure transactions. This is the glue that, and MCP is initially introduced by Anthropic, now adopted by all the big ones, right? So it is becoming a standard, if not already, right? As a result, this is the article that kind of gives us an overview of what's happening below the top layer, and I think it's essential for our audience, for AI leaders, to understand it, that this is happening, and this what would enable, this is the glue that would get autonomous agents to work. So I was thinking maybe essential. What do you guys think?
I could live with essential. I mean, it's not not the best article on this, but it is such a central issue.
Totally agree. I wanted it to be essential. Let's make it essential.
Let's make it essential. Okay,
Right.
Essential it is. Let's proceed.
The next one that we have comes from Amazon. So Amazon has launched Amazon Nova Reel 1.1, where you can make short videos of up to 2 minutes.
Yeah, now all major platforms can do videos. So what do you think about this one, John?
Yeah, I was going to give this important. Everyday Miracles, beautifully done. Nova Reel, 1.1 is really nice. I think it's amazing how we can create, things of raccoons underwater that look more natural, and we still are lagging a little bit on humans, human avatars. But I think that's understandable. We obviously are tuned to great subtleties of our own species. So I'm sure a raccoon would look at this thing and say, "Yeah, sorry, that looks kind of fake to me." Yeah, I mean, back in the same topic we started off with, which is the role of video in the context of internal and external communications is just, I think, going to go through the roof. And this is a great new step forward. Amazon's just killing it. So important.
Okay, Lucinda, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was optional / important. So, the things that it set itself apart were critical for storytelling or enterprise quality outputs. It's got a longer duration. It's 2 minutes versus seconds. and you can hand type in, shot by shot design and full automation. And I think you can do it with some other ones too. But again, there's so many of them. It's like you need one of the charts that like what you guys put together for all the different chatbots to know what's what. But yeah, so I optional / important.
Yeah, I was on the optional side because I didn't think there was much newness here, except for what Lucinda, you mentioned, 2 minutes generation. But I can live with important, guys, if you think it's important. John?
Yep,
important?
Let's go for it. Yeah.
Go important? Okay. Lucinda, okay with important? Yeah, okay. Let's go important. All right. Next one, please.
Sure, Luda. So the next one comes from NVIDIA, and they have launched a new Nemotron model called Llama 3.1 Nemotron Ultra 253B V1.
Yeah,
And
and I think, Ankash, you're the one who can decode all of those numbers. Who you follow all these models, and you can tell us what's in this, please.
sure, Luda. Yep. So this comes from NVIDIA's Nemotron family of models, and it's a derivative of Llama 3.1 405 billion parameter model. And it has been post-trained to enhance both its reasoning and non-reasoning capabilities. And it has a token context length of 128,000 tokens. I sort of rated it important for 3 reasons. One is it sort of continues the conversation around how you can train Norman models into reasoning models through post-training process. Second, this model sort of competes directly with the DeepSeek R1 model and performs really well compared to DeepSeek. And the most important bit, I think, it uh, has a very good performance from an efficiency perspective. So you can so compared to DeepSeek, it's 4 times efficient. So basically, open source model, reasoning one, and more efficient than what we have in the market right now. So that's why I rated it important.
Lucinda, what did you think?
Yeah, I was important to essential for a couple of reasons. Agree with everything you said, Ankash. The training and the efficiency was really incredible. It is text-based, and targeted for the enterprise. It's as you mentioned, it's open source, which is good for people who want to be on-prem only, so they can take this model and bring it in. It's also got high performance instruction following, which is good for scaling, so it can be good for really high volume, etc. So it's good for open source LLM alternatives compared to the proprietary offerings like OpenAI or Anthropic. And so it's really focused on the enterprise, open access, etc., and focused on data privacy, cost control, and infrastructure flexibility.
Yeah. And it shows that it's integrated with the hardware in the performance. So yeah, I was, John, important, okay?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was also on the important side. Thank you, guys. Important it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the last one that we have for today comes from Microsoft and talks about the transformative impact of AI and GenAI in OSS and BSS in telecommunications.
Yeah, telecommunications are getting under the microscope here. What did you think about this, Lucinda?
Yeah, this one also important to essential. It's a way to kind of explain agentic operations in and automation in kind of a non-frightening way. So if you think about a network business, they've got two sides of the house. There's the business side, which is the BSS, and that basically will tell you, hey, John or Luda just bought a new 5G plan. And then there's OSS, and the OSS will automate it, like say, great, now activating the network now to the specifications of this particular new customer. The other thing that it allows companies to do for the telecom area is instead of waiting for problems and reacting, now this can be used a more predictive and proactive way of kind of monitoring and fixing problems. So it's, service catalogs and customer demands are evolving, really rapidly. You need a scalable infrastructure with shorter time to market that can accommodating fluctuating workloads. And I think this can deliver that. So I think this is very interesting for that point of view.
John, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was more on the other end. I think that these are important areas. Done some work for telecommunications folks, and this BSS OSS opportunity. I mean, there's just tremendous implications for cost and for customer growth and customer retention and so forth. And these businesses, in a lot of ways, live and die by customer retention when you look at their economics. So I think these are both fantastically important. It just didn't say a lot about the how. It said, okay, we did this, and then here's the Microsoft product we use. We did this, and then here's the Microsoft product we use. So because of that, and then no business implications, nothing really about the program management or sequencing or anything. So I agree, Lucinda, hugely important area, very interesting products. But for me, it was observation product, not here's how the case worked and the value we got.
Yeah, so you're thinking it's a puff piece rather than a more detailed article. Yeah.
Well, because Lucinda rated it so highly, I wouldn't call it a puff piece. I would call it leans a little heavily toward the vendor.
No, that's right. Okay, so we have an important and optional here. Ankash, what did you think?
So Luda, I'm with Lucinda here. I think it's an important one, given it talks about the important areas in telecom. And I think we have a few examples as well, which are good here. So important for me.
Yeah, I was also, John, on the important side, because even though the article itself did not quote the results and didn't go into detail, they provided links to actually good examples. I clicked a couple of them, and they were in more detail and what actually was done more specifically. So just given that and given the overview like Lucinda gave us, I think it's important article. So let's mark it important by the power of the chalk.
Alrighty.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. So Ankash, if you could please prepare the scorecard. That's quite impressive today. John, Lucinda, any announcements?
Yes, I just want to remind people that coming up next, let me double check, Wednesday, I think, or Tuesday, it's on the 14th. We have this fantastic, that's 15th rather, sorry, Tuesday, the 15th of April, tax day. We're going to be at part of the groups presenting at MIT's Imagination in Action about the future of business. I think it's going to be fantastic. For those of you who already have gotten in, can't wait to see you there. And we will be reporting from that as well. Paul's on 2 panels, I'm on 1. We're really looking forward to that because between the technical volatility and innovations as well as the market volatility, I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation.
Yes. And I think he's going to do it virtual this time, isn't he? I didn't confirm it, but maybe. Okay.
No, we'll find out for tomorrow.
Okay, so it's 15th. If you're in the area, market and sign up. It's more than 1,000 people, but you need to register to attend. It's free. So for today, though, we had 1 essential, 4 important, and 1 optional. We went really important today, convinced ourselves that those are important items.
I just want to point out the great inflation did not come from me.
That's true, actually. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Join us tomorrow. Lucinda, as always, wonderful to have you. Thank you. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.